Hey everybody, I am back in Clear Lake, Iowa, and I want to talk to you about something I mentioned on yesterday's video, and that is about asset managers and teams. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, today is August 1st, 2022. This is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. As I said, I'm in Clear Lake, Iowa, back here in Clear Lake. If you don't know about Clear Lake, it's a really nice community. They do actually have a lake here. There's about 18 square miles of surface water at Clear Lake. They have beaches and boats, and they have a paddle boat, all sorts of stuff out there. But Clear Lake is famous for something else besides that. And at this famous surf ballroom here in Clear Lake on February 2nd, 1959 was the last time that Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper played. They got on a plane afterwards and crashed not too far from here, Mason City, on the morning of February 3rd, 1959. And so, if you've ever heard Don McLean's epic song "American Pie," that's what he refers to when he said the day the music died. But that happened here. The last performance was here in Clear Lake. If you ever get a chance, come here, check out the lake, check out the community around there. Go check out the surf ballroom. In fact, I did a video about it quite a while back. Put a link in the description. I'll try to put one of those cards. I haven't really used them, so I'm going to try. If I don't, the link's down below, so you can check it out. You can see a little bit about the community, but really, if you're a music fan, the surf ballroom has so much history to it. They still have concerts there. They still have events there, but it's something to see. It's a museum. Besides that, all the famous people who played there over the years. In fact, you go into the dressing room off the stage, and all of these famous artists have signed the walls in there, and it's just epic. So if you get a chance, check it out. But what I want to talk about today is something I mentioned yesterday, and I talk about all the time, and that is my asset manager and my team. Okay, it's a little bit different here at Crete, and it's changed since I've been here, and it absolutely changed for the better. There wasn't anything wrong with it before, but it just, refining things. So when I got here to Crete, so the process, well, let me talk before that. Okay, so whether you call them driver managers or fleet managers or dispatchers or asset managers, we do here, some people might think, oh, well, that's all the same thing, but it's not. I've talked to a few different drivers that I know, and it's not. The whole point of things, the whole attitude about it is different, and I'll tell you why and how, and then I'll talk about how it is here at Crete in my experience. And you might have drivers have different experiences, but I want to share my experience with you. So I know people that have dispatchers, and their main job is just to send you the load and send you out. That's it. Don't care about anything else. Here's the load. Can you make it? Can you not make it? Go. Goodbye. See you later. We'll get you, the next one later. And that happens quite a bit. And then you have fleet managers. Now, if sometimes it's just a title. Sometimes it's just whatever. I know from watching the Joy of Trucking, that channel, I know that Kevin there had at Werner a fleet manager, but from what he describes it seems like it's a driver manager, a basic driver manager. Here at Crete we have fleet managers, but they're different. Our fleet managers are at our different terminals. Each of our terminals has a fleet manager who is also the terminal manager, and you're assigned to one of the fleets based on either the location of your home of record, or if you're on a dedicated fleet, you're assigned there that way. For me, I'm assigned to the Phoenix terminal, so my fleet is out of Phoenix, and my fleet manager's job is to take care of, make sure that the trucks and all the equipment's taken care of, to make sure that my pay goes well, to track my bonus kind of stuff and my miles, and make sure my compliance as far as how I do my job, that I'm in compliance with that. And that's good to have that help there, and they're really good at it. And if I have a problem, I can call them with any of those things, and they'll take care of it. If I have a question about my miles or whatever, and or what I did before, or that kind of stuff, they'll take care of it. They also help make sure that I get the things I need to do on time. The services for my truck, they make sure that I'm doing that. I'm due one in about 4,000 miles, so they're tracking that right now. And I've gotten a few messages saying make sure that as you get close, that you get with your asset manager to route you through one of our terminals, because it needs to be done at a terminal for this service. So that's fine. They also will keep up with my DOT physical and when that's due, and make sure that I'm doing that at one of the terminals. So all those things, that's what our fleet manager does here. Now, a fleet manager, from what I take from watching Kevin's videos at Werner or some of the other ones, is a driver manager. It's just a different term for it. Now, at Stevens, I had driver managers. I had an onboarding manager to start, and he was great. He was really great. I enjoyed working with him. In fact, after I got off of his board, because you're with your driver manager throughout grad, which is roughly 3 months. Okay, you're in grad fleet for about 3 months, give or take, depending on your mileage, depending on a few things. But you're in grad fleet for about 3 months before you go to regular fleet, and you have a grad fleet driver manager. And my driver manager was a guy by the name of Jonathan, and Jonathan was great. He made sure that everything went along, and that he helped me out a lot. And then when they assigned me to a regular driver manager, and I can't remember his name, and I'll tell you why in a second, is that they assigned us to a regular driver manager, and then about a week later, I found out that they put me back on Jonathan's board. And the reason they put me back on Jonathan's board was because they had lost a bunch of driver managers in the Alliance Lease division, I guess, and so they moved a bunch of driver managers over there. And so the people that they had, they sort of did a lottery or like a draft, and I ended up back on Jonathan's board for almost the rest of my time there. And then I got a driver manager just before the end, leaving there. And driver managers, they make sure that you're getting your loads, and that you're, the things that you need, whether it's checks or for lumpers or pre-plans and stuff like that. They and depending on how you act with them is how involved they're going to get with you. I would always joke with Jonathan and stuff like that when I called him, and it was really easy to get to talk with him. But when he wasn't there, it was really hard. It was really hard to get a hold of him. And then I got another driver manager, and he was really great too. But I only had him for a real short period of time before I ended up leaving. But same thing. I could joke with them if I needed something. They'd get with me. But when they weren't there, whether it was the weekends or nights, or they were sick or whatever, oh my God, it was so hard to know who was going to help you and who to talk to get help. It was just really rough. And from what I take from talking with other Stevens drivers, and also what I read, it's not any better. You can stay on the phone for a long time dealing with somebody, trying to find somebody to help you over there. And that's because you don't have a relationship with those people. You have a relationship with your driver managers, but you don't have a relationship with everybody else. Well, then I come over here to Crete. And when I came over here to Crete, I was given what's called an onboarding asset manager. Now, what's the difference between an asset manager and a driver's manager? Well, some of the functions are the same, but I will tell you just the nature of Crete. And when I talk about Crete, I'm talking about Shaffer and Hunt as well. But the nature of this company is very driver focused, and they treat drivers like the assets that they are. They're the key part of this function. Nothing happens without them, and they treat us as such. That's my perception, you know. So they treat you like the asset that you are integral to any kind of success, either your own or the company's, and they're going to take care of you just like that. And they work really hard to make sure that happens. Now, when I first got here, like I said, I got an onboarding asset manager. Her name was also Sarah, not my current asset manager, but her name was also Sarah. And Sarah was great. Okay, she was great. She was awesome. But she was really upfront. She said, "Look, I have a much smaller board because I'm an onboarding asset manager. I don't have as many drivers on my board because that way I can give you some more personal help if you need it. But once you get out of here, you're going to get on a regular asset manager's board, and they're going to have a lot more drivers, so you're not going to get the one-on-one attention that I can give you right now as often. If you need it, they're going to help you or whatever. But that kind of thing, because Crete, because they hire experienced drivers, they expect for you to be able to handle situations a lot on your own. But when you need the help, they're there. Okay. So I got done about 2 months in. I got done with Sarah being my asset manager, and they assigned me to another asset manager. I'm not going to tell you her name because my first regular fleet asset manager, when I was out OTR, my first one, she was good at her job. I'm going to tell you, she was really good at her job. She could get you the miles. She can figure out stuff. She knew her stuff, right? But she was very analytical about it, and that was her focus, the analytical part. And when I had issues or whatever, I just didn't feel like the personal connection was there. Our personalities just clashed, okay? But she was going to get you the miles, and she was going to get you where you needed. She was going to get you the loads. She was absolutely good at her job. But focusing on the analytical and getting it done, sometimes if you get hyper-focused, you can lose sight of the other. Now, having seen what asset managers deal with as far as the computers and everything else and all the programs and all this stuff, I can see how that is really easy to get like that, to get so focused on that you lose sight of other things. Now, so in an effort to solve issues or whatever, sometimes she left out the personal part initially. Later on, she would call it, I hope you're feeling better or whatever, let me know, that kind of stuff. But it just was such a big disconnect, and it really made me think about that, because I stayed on that for a long time, because I had learned from the first Sarah, from my onboarding manager, asset manager, that it was going to be much harder for my new asset manager because she had such a big board. So I tried to understand that, and I dealt with it for quite a while. And but when I got, so I talked it out also with my assistant fleet manager in Phoenix, and she gave me the name of somebody to talk to. And she said, "Here's if you have, this is who you need to talk to. I can't do anything about your asset manager, or your assignment or anything, but this is who you need to talk to." And she gave me the name of the ops manager named Mike. And she said, call Mike, talk to Mike, and see what, let him know what's going on. Well, I talked to Mike, and I told him, I said, you know what, this is, our personalities just clash, and it makes it really hard, because this is the one person that I talk to all the time from the company, and it just makes it really hard. And, we hadn't had big disagreements, we hadn't argued, we hadn't done it. It just, sometimes you just have a personality conflict, and that was the case. So he said, look, I've got somebody, I'm going to go ahead and put you on her board, and she's awesome. And she says, and just with talking with you and watching some of your videos, because he had seen some of my videos, and doing that, he said, I know who I'm going to put you with. And so he put me with Sarah number 2, who actually, technically, for me, is Sarah number 1. But anyway, she put me with Sarah, with Sarah, my current asset manager, and the truck was going to start. Sorry for the off the idle. I turned it off. But anyway, so put me with the current Sarah, and Sarah is awesome. Okay, she's my lead asset manager. She's the one who takes care of me whenever I need something. She's always there. I can call her. She'll take care of me. She makes sure I have pre-plans. She makes sure I get where I need to go. She, but I went out of my way to also help develop that relationship, because I don't think you can just have a regular, that with a asset manager driver relationship. I think you've got to cultivate that somehow. All right. I made a point of going and seeing my original asset manager, and going and meeting her, the one that I ended up asking for a change from, and in the hopes that was gonna, the face-to-face was gonna make a difference, and it did for a little while. But when I got Sarah as my asset manager, when Mike was nice enough to sign her to me, I made sure and went to go meet her, and at that time, Crete was just getting ready to go to this team concept, where what they wanted to do is they wanted to make sure that not only did you have your specific asset manager who was your main person, but they also wanted to make sure that you had a team around you, that when that person wasn't there, you knew who you were going to be talking to, who was going to be taking care of you, and their job was to help out because you were a member of the team. They have their own people too, but they're going to make sure and take care of you. And that's the way it's been since. And I've got a chance to meet just about everybody on my team. Every time I go to Lincoln, I go up if they're working, and Sarah's there. I'll go up and I'll say hi to everybody. I know what's going on, in a lot of their lives. When I call and I end up talking with one of them, or I'll ask them, how's this going? How's that going? How you feeling? What's going on? I'll go through all before we even talk about what I need, because they're people, and I'm a person, and that connection helps out so much. I know that when the days that Sarah's not there, I know who I'm going to end up starting to talk to. I know when Sarah's at lunch or whatever, who I'm going to be, who I might talk to. Some of the people on the Carolyn is awesome. She's the person who I usually talk to on Friday and Saturday when those are Sarah's days off. I usually talk to her. Sometimes I'll talk to McCall. He's really great. Christy's been awesome to help me out. One day that we had some different coverage. He was a little swamped. The other coverage was a little swamped, helping out the team, and I needed something. And Christy wasn't even the one covering at that point in time, but she had seen my message and she saw that the other guy was swamped, and she jumped in there and worked really hard to fix my problem and to get me what I needed, and that was awesome. She didn't have to do that, but that was the thing. And and part of it, I truly believe, is the fact that I took the time to go in and to meet people, to meet everybody, so that now I can put a face to their name, and they can put a name or a face to my name and my voice, and figure it out, and know that. We got other people on the team, and I've got a list of people here because I want to say thank you to everybody. Gary's our team leader. Kendall's one of the asset managers that helps. Joel, Dana, all these people helping out. Even now we've got a trainee that's working with Sarah, with my Sarah, no, just with Sarah, and Peyton. And Peyton's been great, learning the ropes, and he's going to go into ops management. But I like the fact they've got him working and trying to get to understand what it's like to be an asset manager, and he's going to go learn what it's like to be a planner and what it's like to be a CSR, and so he knows, that way he has that experience, and I think that's really great. And they couldn't put him with with a better team to work with. But all those people like that, and then the people that also, have helped out, and I've got to give props to I want to say the two big bosses, and everybody underneath. But Tim Ashoff, who's the president and COO of Crete Carrier, and because he took the time to talk with me, and I'm going to tell you that situation just real quick in a minute. And also Eric Cutter, who's the president of Shaffer Trucking. I saw them one day when I was on the yard at Lincoln. They were eating, and they've always said, "Hey, if you want to talk to us, if we're eating or whatever, or you see us, come up and talk to us." And I did, and I talked to them, and they were really great. And I appreciate that. That shows how important drivers are when it starts at the top and it works all the way down. I'll be honest with you, that to me was not the case at Stevens. It wasn't. Trying to see anybody from the upper floor, trying to see anybody that was up at that level about anything, just was absolutely non-existent unless you had made a major problem for them. Then you would get a chance to see them. But as far as anything else, it was so tough to see them. You had to go through all the steps before you even had a chance. The only reason I got to go upstairs is because I had a YouTube channel that they liked for a while, and that allowed me a little bit of access. But other than that, it was really tough. Now again, I think Stevens is a good company to start with, but there's some issues there. So, but here, I want to tell you, if you're thinking about coming to working for Crete, or you already are, and you have not, I can't overemphasize this, and you have not personally met your asset manager and your team, you need to do that. You need to take the time, whether they're at Lincoln or one of the other terminals, because we've got asset managers in different terminals. You need to take the time to go meet them face to face. It will make a difference on how you interact together and how you treat each other. It's human nature. Once you meet somebody face to face, that relationship changes. You care more about what happens to them, they care more about what happens to you. It's just human nature, and that's what you need in this business. That interaction, that person, when you have an issue or you need something, you need that person on the other line to care, not just that you're a driver, but that you are who you are, and that they're going to help you out. And the good people are going to make every single driver on their board feel like that. And they're going to work really hard to make sure that happens. That said, that takes a lot of effort. So if you get frustrated with your asset managers and whatever because they don't get back to you all the time or whatever, or don't answer the phone exactly when you call, you know what? They've got big boards, and they're trying to give everybody that same quality attention that they can. All right? But you still need to work for it. You still need to go out, and you still need to make the effort. You have to be proactive. Go meet them. Then afterwards, when you call them and one of the people, one of your asset managers on your team, not just your asset, but on your team, one of them has been sick, find out how they're doing. One of them maybe, got a new dog or is about to have a baby or whatever. Find out what's going on. Because they appreciate, just like you appreciate, being treated like a human being and not just somebody you need something from. You'll be surprised how much help and how much effort they're going to go through to help you when you treat them the way they should be treated, with respect, and they'll treat you the same way. And I think that's probably going to be the same for every team out there at Crete Shaffer. Not just mine. But you got to do that. Now, if you're working for somebody where you're not treated like that, then you need to find a different place to work. I don't care if you're making a ton of money. Being treated the wrong way is not worth it. I got to be making a really crap load of money to deal with to be treated that poorly. So if you're not being treated the way you think you need to be by the company that you're working for, then come work for a company that treats its drivers right. Now, you're going to have people who've had a bad experience with Crete for whatever reason. Almost always they were part of that reason, somehow, some way. You're only going to hear the one part, oh, how horrible Crete was. They're not going to talk about the other part. Oh, I wasn't getting the miles that they said I was going to get. Well, that's because you get up and you play Nintendo for 3 hours before you get rolling, or you're late for your appointments, or you don't keep you don't keep updating your PTAs, your projected time of availability, so they know when to get you the next load, or you're not updating your ETAs, or you're lollyganging around when you got. Or you've got a window, a 2-day delivery window, and your plan is to deliver it at the end of the second day. Why? So that you don't have to run so hard. And then you go, well, how come I'm not getting so many loads? Well, that's because you're not running hard. You got to take a little bit on you too. But if you're willing to run hard and you're willing to do those things and to keep them up to date, then they're going to get you moving, and your team is going to be there for you. Now, like I said, I feel like I got the best asset manager in the business, and I think I have the best team in the business. Hopefully, you're lucky enough to have the same kind of thing. But every team and every asset manager at Crete and Shaffer and Hunt are willing to be just like that if you're willing to deal with them. Now, you might have a personality issue like I had with my asset manager, but talk to somebody about it. Go up the chain to talk to the people that you need to, because they want you to be happy. They want you to stay. We hire quality drivers for a reason. We want them to stay and want them to work hard. So if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to do the hard work, if you don't, then do it. If you're working for Crete Shaffer, or you're working for somebody else, and you want some input, hey, like I said, I haven't been doing this a whole lot of time, but I've been doing it for 3 years, and I get a ton of miles, and I'm making good money for having just 3 years experience. I'm making really good money, so I know how to work, and I know how to get what I need to get, and I know how to treat people the way that they deserve to be treated, so that they treat me the same way. So if you're not sure about that and you want some help, feel free to leave me a message down below, a comment down below, or send me a message. My email's down below, dukecitydevildog@gmail.com. Send me an email. We can talk it through. We can try to help you. But if you're at a company where you're not getting treated right, and you're a good driver, you're a safe driver, and you've got some experience, think about coming here to Crete Shaffer. Now, they just changed the requirements not too long ago. They are looking at drivers with 6 months or more. But if you have at least 6 months and less than 8 months, then they're going to put you with a trainer for a little while to make sure. If you have at least 8 months and there's a list of companies that they will take you at 8 months, if you've been a safe driver with no big issues, they have a list of companies that they're willing to take drivers with 8 months of over-the-road experience with. You can find out about that. If you don't meet either one of those, then you can look at coming over here with a year's experience and a year's safe driving experience. Now, doesn't mean your record has to be perfect, but it needs to be reasonable. So anyway, if you're interested, my information is down below. Get a hold of me, or if you can call recruiting if you want to. Give them my driver code, please, CARR31, or you can email me and I will help try to lead you through the process. All right? But I want to go back to where I started with this. Asset managers are key to you being successful. And having a good relationship and having good ones are the way that's going to happen. Not everybody's going to be as lucky as I am, but that just means you got to do a little bit of extra work, and you're gonna get what you need from your asset managers. Because just like this company is awesome about hiring good drivers, they're awesome about hiring good asset managers and good planners and good CSRs. Everybody on the ops side. And Later on, we'll talk about maintenance and everything else, because that's a whole different thing. But they're awesome about hiring good people there too. So that said, it's time for me to get something to eat and to get some shut eye, because I am headed from here to Menominee, Wisconsin. I believe that's how you say it, Menominee, Wisconsin. Then from there, I'm going to head from there, pick up a load in Eau Claire, head down to Nebraska, and then get to the yard in Lincoln. Like I mentioned, and I told you, I mentioned in a previous video, we're going to do some videos here in the not too distant future about what exactly an asset manager has to look at and deal with to get you the help that you need and to get you where you need to go. We want to look at that because I want to do that. And I want to thank Sarah, because Sarah really had the idea about it, but it's an awesome idea that you can gain an appreciation for what they have to do and what they have to go through by looking at that. And in the short term, if you're working for Crete Shaffer, I suggest that you take the time to go meet your asset manager and see if you can sit there and watch them and what they have to go through and all the different steps they got to go through to get things done. And you are going to have a lot more patience with your asset manager afterwards after seeing that. You're going to have a ton of patience after that, because it is not an easy job. And if you don't believe me, ask Peyton, the manager trainee that's working with Sarah right now. He had to cover the board for one day by himself. I'm sure he learned that this is not an easy job, and that they don't have an easy job. So I'm sure about that. Sorry, Peyton. Sorry for calling you out like that, but I'm sure you learned that. So anyway, like I said, it's time for me to get some shut eye. You guys, I hope you had a good one. I hope you're staying safe out there. All right. In the meantime, we're going to talk to you probably from the yard in the next few days. I got some surprises coming up in the not too distant future, including we're going to start to take video a little bit more vertical. And what do I mean by vertical? Stay tuned and figure out. It's going to be a little bit because I got to do some training on it, but we'll figure it out. Again, this is Rick. I'm in Clear Lake, Iowa, and I'm driving for Crete Carrier Corporation. I'm psyched to be driving for Crete Carrier. You could be too. Take care. We'll talk to you later.